Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Carmolaye, I'm back. Y'all know that's not my real name, right? No, that's just a name that I've been using online for some years now. First, I was using that little screen name or whatever on my old Facebook page that I do not have access to anymore. That's long gone. And but I think I started using that screen name, Carmolaye, I think 5 years ago, something like that. Maybe 6 years ago. I don't know, something like that. But anyway, I'm back, y'all. I wanted to discuss today about the root of all emotional imbalance and sickness, the deep spiritual reason for that. I've spoke about this on my very first podcast, Harmonni Healings, that I did last year in 2022. That's found on Spotify. And Harmony is spelled Harmonni, Harmonni Healings. I have the links to that on some of the description box area on my previous videos before this one. So to whoever is interested, that's where you can go to get that information, okay? But anyway, when I first spoke about this, what I'm going to speak about today, I spoke about this topic on that podcast that I did, my very first one. But I was drawn and I was led to speak about this today because the energy is just getting heavier and heavier with this negativity going on. And just sum it all up and just say that, right? Got to have an open mind to understand me, okay? And I don't really think that if you're not on your spiritual journey already, you would even understand my point of view on certain things. So if you're not on your spiritual journey, or if you're not familiar with some spiritual things, then this might be gibberish to you. No hard feelings, okay? I have my comments turned off anyway, or disabled or whatever. I don't have comments on these videos anyway, so I think on some other ones I had the comments on, but I'm turning them off now, from now on probably. But anyway, the root of all emotional imbalance and sickness is all from generational curses on the bloodline. Mainly, it's from that. Cursed, dark energy, things like that. That is the root of all emotional imbalance and sickness. Let me explain. Like I've said in previous videos before, or on my previous content, probably on my podcast as well, I have mentioned things like the spirit of confusion, the spirit of fear, the spirit of perversion, the spirit of all these different types of spirits I've mentioned before on my previous content, either on this channel or mainly on my podcast that I've done, all the podcasts that I've done so far, from last year to this year. But all emotional imbalance and sickness is all from spiritual warfare. There's no other reason for it. But one would have to be one would have to have a spiritual mindset to actually understand that. That's what I've learned. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I learned about myself and my bloodline that were very, very dark, very, very disturbing, very triggering, and things like that. And last year in 2022, I've received a lot, and I mean a lot, of very disturbing and dark, spiritual downloads and confirmations about things I needed to know, things that Source wanted me to know, Most High God, however you call his name, Source, God, Heavenly Father, Universe, they wanted me to know certain things about my bloodline that I didn't know. Things that they thought I would never find out. Things that were hidden from me, kept from me, such as certain things that was done behind the scenes of my life, and also things that were done to me directly, things that happened to me directly as well. I have found out that I do not have regular physical 3D memory recollection of. But, I'm starting to get recurring memories of certain things now, this year, recently. But out of everything that I've learned and found out and all this stuff, I am surprised that I'm emotionally mature as I am today. I have no one to thank but the Most High God for that. I thank Source every day. I thank the Most High God every day for my strength, my discernment, my patience, because I've had to learn how to have more of that. That was the biggest thing I've had to really work on, is having patience, and I'm better with that by now. But that was that was a struggle for me at first, but now I'm just going with the flow. Know what I mean? But all emotional imbalance and sickness is from, either cursed dark energy or generational curses that are on the bloodline. You know what I mean? I'm blessed to not be like anyone in my family. I am estranged from my whole family, and I will forever be estranged from them. There will never be any chance that I would ever unestrange myself. Never. There's too much that I know now, and there's too many things going on currently now, around me and towards me and things like that, I'm just dealing with it. I pray every day. I meditate every day. And that has really, truly helped me a lot with helping me become more emotionally mature. I never thought I would be this way, and actually could look back on things and be like, damn, that's fucked up. But not just have pure just rage and anger towards it. I'm not going to have happy feelings towards it. Hell no. But I'm not just, dwelling on that negativity. You know what I'm saying? I've learned how to better deal with my negative emotions, As I began to break generational curses off my bloodline, which I have done already last year, I noticed that my emotions, that's when I started, noticing, as I became deeper in my spiritual healing journey, I've noticed how I'm in more control of my emotions than ever before. I noticed my own growth. You know what I mean? And I thank the Most High God every day for that. You know what I mean? Thank the universe, the Most High God, my ancestors, Most High God's angels. You know what I'm saying? My whole spiritual team. I'm thankful for that, because If it wasn't for that and me being on my spiritual journey, I would not be in the mindset I'm in today. And I know that. You know what I mean? I've spoke about the root of all emotional imbalance and sickness back on my very, very first podcast I did in 2022. You can go back on there if you like, whoever is interested. But let me mention that when I did my very first podcast, there was a lot of interference type of noises in between, all throughout my episodes and stuff. And there was a lot of hacking things going on, a lot of negative interferences going on and things like that. So for people who are interested in listening to that, just know it'll be some skipping noise type of stuff throughout some of my episodes on there. I even made a PSA episode about that, when I had noticed that first going on when I was doing that first podcast I was doing. And but anyway, I wanted to talk about this today, and I was led to speak about this today because I guess it's because I'm noticing more things, and there's a lot of things going on that's just gone way, 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 way too far now when it comes to people being negative towards me, whether if it's, evil spell work they're putting on me, or if it's people gang stalking me physically in 3D, you know what I'm saying, as I go out in public and stuff, and and my significant other gets gang stalked just because he's in a relationship with me, and that's fucked up, but he knows that though, you know what I'm saying, he knows that, he's spiritually awakened too, so you know what I mean, but he's on his own journey though, you feel me, but it's sad how, like when I spoke on the last video before this one, when I spoke about curses on the mind and how I learned that curses on the mind affects the environment around you. You know what I mean? And I said on that previous video before this one where I learned that from, and in the YouTube channel I learned that from and all that. So I don't want to go into all that discussion, but that matters to actually notice, because I noticed that things are just going way too far now because of negative manipulation going on, and it's been going on. And I just refuse to be quiet about it. I refuse. I've held things in a long time, and I know there were certain things that were not right that happened to me in the past before I was on my spiritual journey. But when I became spiritually awakened, quote unquote woke, you know what I'm saying, back in 2018, even that spiritual awakening time in my life wasn't the most awakening time of my life like the year 2022 was for me. I consider 2022, the year 2022, being the most awakening time of my life so far. And last year, I went through many, many dark night of the soul times. And if you don't know what that is, please do your research, please. And after I got all that anger out, all that stored anger and stored trauma and all that out of me and all that, I became more tolerable to the bullshit, even though I really don't tolerate it. I just deal with it. I do not stand for the shit, but I do tolerate it because I understand it on a deep, deep level that most of these people here in the town I live in, all throughout my content on my podcast, either the very first one I did or the one I did this year. Okay. And they're all found on Spotify, all of them. But I've said throughout my content on my podcasts, when I would mention things about, negative projections and negative manipulation, things like that, and when I would talk about certain people who are in control of that, I always made myself clear when I would say that I know not all Masons are bad. I know that not all occultists are malicious as fuck. I know that. Okay? So when I talk shit about Masons or, dark occult practices and things like that, I'm only speaking shit about those type of people who attack targeted individuals, chosen ones, and good-hearted people like myself, like you, who do not deserve that shit. See, I understand things on a higher level, especially by now, but I understand things on a higher level. And I can actually say, without being sarcastic, I can actually say that I have compassion for the situation at hand, but I do not have sympathy for these negative people who attack people spiritually or otherwise, who do not deserve those attacks, who do not deserve being gang stalked, who do not deserve being spiritually attacked and having all these curses on them and black magic and this and that, this and that. And I do know, I want to make myself clear with this, I do know that there has to be darkness for light to exist. I believe in duality. I believe there's good and bad in everything, positive and negative things in everything, light and dark in every freaking thing. I understand duality. I understand that. I'm not closed-minded. Okay? I'm all the way woke around here. Okay? I understand things on a higher level, to the level that I can actually say that I have compassion for these gang stalkers and compassion for all these people that have curses on their mind to attack me and spiritually attack me and spiritually attack my significant other and gang stalk him and gang stalk me. I'm actually to the point where I'm so emotionally mature that I can have compassion for the root cause of what the hell is going on around me here where I reside. But I would never have sympathy for them. They can never get that from me. Some people may ask, how the heck can you have compassion but not have sympathy? I don't know. That's just how I understand what I understand about my own situation. That's all I can tell you. But I have compassion for people, even malicious motherfuckers, only because of the fact that they had to be groomed to be that way. They had to be taught to be that way. They had to be programmed that way to become that way. And I know that. But I would never, ever, ever have sympathy for these gang stalkers of me ever, never, I would never feel sorry for these people when karma comes to them. I would never feel sorry for them. They deserve everything they got coming to them. But I do have true compassion for the same people gang stalking me and the same people doing evil spell work towards me and all that shit. Because I know the spiritual deep meaning of all this shit. And I understand it to the T now. And I know there's a lot of target individuals and that may not be in that place like that, like I am, to say what I just said about the compassion thing. But I had to do a lot of deep, deep spiritual healing for me to get to this point. You know, I come from a ruthless ass bloodline, and I know it. I found out a lot of secrets about my family they didn't want to tell me. Like the fact that who I thought was my mother was not even my biological mother. But she's always going to be my mother in my heart, mind, and soul, though, because she raised me and she did the best she could, you know, and she gave me the love that no one else gave me in the family. But and there's also other things that I found out that I actually was very open about, you know, on my podcast that I did this year. Some of the things I opened up about, not everything, some of the things. On the podcast I did this year, Shining Harmonious Light with Carmolaye's Insight, also found on Spotify, just like my other one. Curses are real, okay? This ain't just people saying that just to say it, just to make excuses and all that. No. This shit really affects people and really affects people's lives. And especially the lives of us target individuals who don't fucking deserve this shit. You know? See, I know about my own personal situation, what the Most High God wants me to know as of right now, so far. You know? But I'm pretty sure there's more things I'll probably end up finding out in the future, probably. Whatever. But, you know, I know enough now. Like, I know enough. I just know fucking enough. Like, and it's sad, you know, that a whole family could be against one person. Just one. You know, I've spoke about things like that on my very first podcast. I spoke about how I felt when I was in my childhood, how I did not feel the love that I needed to feel. I was very shunned, you know, in the family, and I knew it as a child. My mom gave me the love that she could give, but everyone else, I mean, as far as the older adults in the family, hell no, they all hated me, and I felt that shit as a kid. I'm an empath, but I didn't know nothing about empath, nothing, or spiritual anything deep like I do now at all. I didn't start my spiritual journey until 2018. I'm past 32 years old, or 30, 31, or however old I was back then. I was past 30 years old though, back in 2018. You know what I'm saying? But as a child, I felt hate. I felt the dirty looks. I seen the dirty looks I would get, and the, which I now know is called evil eye. You know what I'm saying? Or as I got older, I learned about that. But I'm just saying, I seen a lot of evil eye looks at me, but I did not understand what evil eye was as a kid. But me reflecting on things that I went through in my childhood, I'm thankful that I do not have all the horrendous memories of the certain negative things I dealt with as a kid. I'm just thankful I don't have all of those memories in my 3D memory. you know, but I am having certain recurred memories now about certain things that's happened to me in the past. But I'm dealing with that though. But I know if I wasn't on my spiritual healing journey, if I didn't heal from the shit that I've healed from so far, I would be not where I am today. That's for damn sure. And I thank God for that every day, for my sanity, for my strength, for my discernment, for my patience, because I used to be a very impatient person in my past, you know what I mean? I've came a long way, you know, and I'm thankful for the universe. I'm thankful for the Most High God. I'm thankful for me learning certain things so that I could progress in my healing journey, so that I can encourage and motivate others to go on their own spiritual healing journey if they need to. Because I know how it is. You might not be as alone as me. You might not be as isolated as me. But if any of you target individuals feel alone, please don't. Please don't. I don't think anyone is more alone than me. And that's saying that respectfully though. I don't see that as a negative thing though. I only speak to one person, I only deal with one person, you know what I'm saying? My significant other, and that's it. I don't have any friends no more. I cut all people off from my past because of what I found out about them and what they were trying to orchestrate behind the scenes of my life and get me caught up with things I did not know even was going on. I spoke about that on my podcast, though. Some of that on my very first podcast, but there's a lot of people that I used to be friends with, used to, interact with, be sexual with, or not sexual, whatever. But there's a lot of people I dealt with in the past that they all had negative intentions for me behind the scenes. But they were all nice in my face and would, do shit together, and it'd be all peaches and cream in my face, but behind the scenes, they was doing spell work on me and doing this, doing that, and putting me in investigations I didn't know about, and saying I'm this type of person when I'm not, and whatever the fuck lies this was, and all that shit. Like, I'm like, damn, all that behind the scenes of my life. And I was around these people, some of these people, for years of my life. And they were all in my life just to be part of my downfall. So they thought, right? Shit. 3 of them are dead now. Or, I'm sorry, offed or unalive. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm on YouTube. Not on my podcast, I'm on YouTube. So my bad. I mean unalive, because I do want this to stay up. I don't want none of my shit took off or nothing. I'm already shadow banned on here. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? I'm thankful I'm able to speak like this. You know what I'm saying? But there's certain people that's done a lot of negative manipulation behind the scenes of my life who are not even living anymore. Right now, of me speaking today on Thursday, November 16th, 2023. One of them, a couple of them, they OD'd, couldn't handle the pressure of whatever they were handling or whatever. It is what it is. Like, karma comes back no matter what. You just don't know when. I'm not rushing the process. I trust the process. You know what I mean? I trust the universe. I trust in the Most High God. I'm just observing at this point. I'm not going to get active unless someone's active with me first, like I've always been anyway. But I know about all the plots on my death. I know about all the plots of my downfall and all that. The Most High God lets me know all that. The universe lets me know all that. That's why I'm still alive and strong now. I got a whole town mad at me just from one lie that turned into more lies, that turned into more lies, that turned into more lies, that turned into more lies. You know, I respect Masons, I respect the occult, but I do not respect malicious intent with that when it comes to attacking people who don't freaking deserve it. That's what I don't stand for. I don't stand for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's too far now. You know what I'm saying? And curses on the mind and curses on the heart and curses on people's lives are real. I'm not the only one that talks about that. You know, I just speak in different ways, and I give examples because, you know, I can only speak about myself, you know, like I've done on my podcast in the past. I've spoke about things that I've dealt with that was really, really hard and that I, overcame, and the Most High God allowed me to overcome and be delivered from and things like that. And God has spared my life a lot. So I have no choice but to believe in God. I don't have no one else to, you know what I'm saying? I believe in the universe too now. But I believe in the Most High God as well. And if it wasn't for God, I'd be dead. Unalived. I would have been unalived way before 30 years old, you know? But I don't like the fact that some Masons abuse their power. Some occultists, they abuse their power. I do not stand for that. The universe doesn't either. And God doesn't either, by the way. To the negative people that do listen to me. It's not content for them, but I know they do listen to me, though. Like currently, I do know that. But anyway, there's too much abuse of power, and there's going to be a lot of karma coming to people, like sooner than 2 years from now, or within 2 years from now, between now and 2025. Especially if they were attacking me. Especially if they were spiritually attacking me or otherwise, There's a lot of things I opened up about on my Instagram this past summer. It's Carmolaye Harmonni. That was my vlogging Instagram page when I was vlogging on Instagram this year, in the summer. Can't get that open on here because it's YouTube, but if one was interested to go on my Instagram, Carmolaye Harmonni, it's in the description if you want to know how to spell that. But there's a lot of things that I opened up about this past summer on that Instagram page. And I actually said names of people in specific places and things like that because I was just not holding that in no fucking more. I was angry on a lot of those posts and things like that. But I have a right to be angry. I have a right to be angry. Especially the things that happen to my children. I've never been open about me used to having children on my YouTube channel before, but I spoke about that on my podcast, and I've spoke about that on my Instagram page too when I was vlogging and stuff about my gang stalking experiences and certain things I needed to get out and say out loud that the Most High God led me, Source led me to say that way, because I never felt that comfortable to just say people's names out in the open that way until then, the summer of 2023, the summer months ago from now. You know, I've never been that open before, but I was open then. And if it's not deleted by now, and if Instagram didn't take all those posts down because they were so deep in some of the information I was saying was very disturbing. But the fact that it's not deleted now, it should scare the ones that choose to keep on gang stalking me and spiritually attacking me. They should be worried. You know, they should be worried. You think ain't no one looking into that? They think ain't no one looking into that. Well, they can keep on thinking that shit then. You know, and gang stalkers can keep on thinking that shit then. You know, I have respect for Masons and the occult, but I don't understand why some of them just feel like they have to attack us target individuals and chosen ones and good-hearted people that don't deserve it. There's people that harm children and things like that, you know, that may deserve that type of shit. You feel me? Not me, not us target individuals going through this shit being gang stalked for stupid reasons because of people in authority and people that have favor in the law and this and that, this and that. It's getting too far now, man. I'm not the only one that talks about this type of thing. There's tarot card readers that talk about it. You know, I'm not the only psychic investigator in the world. I just happen to not use tarot cards. That's all. You know, I receive my spiritual downloads and confirmations the way I receive them. I just happen to not use tarot cards or oracle cards. Maybe in the future I will, but I don't now. You feel me? But tarot card readers here on YouTube speak about things like this going on. You know, with cases coming up in the future and people getting caught up because of this and this they did and this and that they did and the gang stalking this, gang stalking that. I am not the only one that talks about this. I am not the only one. And there's a tarot card reader that I watch that's actually said openly that feds watch her content and take what she says into consideration. So if they take that into consideration with tarot card readers that speak what they speak and read what they read, you think they ain't looking into shit going on about me in the past? Especially the past. Especially the past. All my children are unalive now. All of them. I spoke about that more openly on my Instagram page, Carmolaye Harmonni. I'm not going to get into all that because I don't want to get emotional on this vlog talk session here because I'm already kind of hyped up. But all of my children are unalive right now, by now. Every single one of them. You know, I was young and dumb and I was with a person that I met at 16 years old and met him as a teenager and shit in Texas and ended up having a relationship with him and having children with him back to back. So I had 4 children with him. None of them are alive now. After I went through that case with all that, with trying to get custody of my children after I lost custody of them and everything, and after I left him because he was abusive towards me and I tried to get my children by myself in my custody alone. You know, I left that city in East Texas to get my life together and get my children back on my own without no help from him, no help from my family, no help, but just me. You know? I ended up getting my own apartment and stuff, and in North Texas, area. And there was a lot of orchestration going on behind the scenes with that when that was going on, because I ended up receiving spiritual downloads regarding that situation that happened in December of 2008 when a burglarization happened to me in December 2008. And when I made a report about that, and I tried to get that police report in January 2009, so that I can have that in court, so that I could get my kids back and explain the reason why I needed an extension to get my household in order after that burglarization happened to me. But Garland, Texas Police Department did not have it on file just for some miraculous reason, though. That part of North Texas. Yeah. I'll go ahead and say that. I already said that openly on my Instagram anyway. Whatever. But there was a lot of things orchestrated in my life before I even started speaking anything like I speak now online. There's some people that say, well, it's because you're a whistleblower and it's because you're this and that. No. No and no. I've been getting gang stalked my whole freaking life. Way before I was even 20 years old, by the way. The fuck? I mean, no. I didn't ask for this. Target individuals don't ask to be gang stalked. We don't ask for this shit. This shit comes to us. It's orchestrated for us, target individuals, chosen ones, good-hearted people. It's orchestrated for us like that. Some target individuals don't have a platform and don't speak about it. So what y'all gonna say about that? Haters that say, oh, the whistleblower is because you're a whistleblower. No. I'm not gang stalked because of me being a whistleblower. No. That happened before I even had anything online. Before I even had a Facebook page or anything. I had my very first Facebook page in 2010. I do not have access to that Facebook page anymore, but I'm just saying, when I first had Facebook, it was in the year 2010. I had shit orchestrated in my life and shit way before that year, So I hate when negative people like to say, oh, it's the whistleblower's fault. If they didn't talk, then this wouldn't happen to them. No. You closed-minded motherfucker. No. That shit don't have to be because of people speaking out. People speak out because they're sick of holding shit in. You can't heal that way, holding shit in. Not everyone has people to talk to about things, or people might, but choose to still be public about it. However, people choose to heal, So that's what I've done so far. I chose to speak out about things that happened wrong to me and my children because I pray that I get justice for all of them, because they're all unalived by now. Some of them, I'm not going to say that on YouTube. Never mind. I said that on my Instagram. I'm going to keep it like that. But if tarot card readers are talking about things that they're talking about now, and feds listen to a tarot card reader I listened to, and she actually spoke verbally and said that feds watch her. Y'all think they ain't watching shit I'm saying or listening to shit I'm saying? Huh? You know what I mean? Hello? I mean, like, goddamn. Spell work to keep things hidden, and spell work to keep people binded and hindering their life and all that negative shit. That shit don't work forever. The universe is going to restore balance, okay? There's going to be balance restored for us target individuals, chosen ones, good-hearted people out here. There's going to be balance restored for all of our situations. It's just going to be at different times, whatever, different places, of course, but it's going to be all within divine timing. You can't rush the universe, you can't rush God. You know what I'm saying? So that's why now I just go with the flow. I go with the flow. I meditate. I pray. And I do things to help my healing journey and not hinder it. Like, I know about my own personal situation. Okay? The universe let me know. The Most High God let me know. But I know about my personal situation. About all the shit going on behind the scenes and the dark web shit, whatever, and how I was recorded without my consent plenty of years of my life. Not just here in the city of Riverside. No, that shit happened when I lived in California. That shit was going on when I didn't know it, when I was living in Bakersfield, California. Like when I first did my very first YouTube channel, Carmolaye, back in 2018, when I would go live and when I used to show my face and shit, and when I used to go live on there before I lost access to that channel, there's a hidden camera in that shit. I didn't even fucking know it. Had no clue at all. No clue at all. Just to exploit me. Just to have some type of financial gain from exploiting me. There's a lot of targeted individuals that have been exploited. A lot of chosen ones, a lot of good-hearted people that have been exploited. And that shit isn't right. Imbalance will be restored for situations that have been going on too long with that. So gang stalkers and malicious people in occult groups and all that, they better enjoy their good luck stream they got right now. They better enjoy that while it lasts. They better enjoy their good luck streak while it lasts, because it will not last forever. When that well runs dry and when that luck runs out for these gang stalkers and these malicious Masonic members and all that, because I do know that not all Masons are bad, okay? But the ones that orchestrate targeted individuals getting gang stalked, the ones that orchestrate all that, they're gonna be sorry. Might not be now, might not be months from now, but eventually, especially where I reside, they better pray to whatever they pray to, that they're able to handle the heat in the kitchen when it gets too fucking hot for them in their lives, from all the negative things they've been doing behind the scenes of targeted individuals' lives and chosen ones and other good-hearted people's lives. They're going to be sorry in the end. And I'm not going to have sympathy for none of them, especially when it comes to my situation and what happened to my children. And none of them are alive right now. None of them. And none of them have had justice for their passings. None of them have had justice for their passings at all. No cases for them, nothing. If I didn't have God in my life, I would not be calm talking about that. I think about that shit every day. I always loved my children. I always wanted to eventually have enough money to, pay for a good lawyer so that I could get my kids back, after the case ended in January 2009 in East Texas. But I understand things now on a higher level that hindered me a lot from even getting to that point. Like, I understand now. You know, I've worked regular 3D jobs throughout my life and you know, worked for a check, but I've always ended up just living paycheck to paycheck and just, staying afloat kind of like that, but I was still thankful for everything I've had. I never was in the mindset of being jealous of people that had more than me. I was never in that mindset. And that was before I had my spiritual awakening. That was way before then. You know, I can have compassion for situations, but I just cannot have the sympathy that these gang stalkers and these other negative people behind the scenes of my life think they're not going to get sympathy from me. Never. But I do have compassion for the situation because I know the spiritual deep meaning of all that. It's a cycle, I'm a generational curse breaker, you know. You know what I mean? And there's one particular older person in my family that really hates that fact. And she is the root of my gang stalking experiences. I even said her name publicly. I even said all that publicly on my Instagram page this past summer, on my vlogging IG page, Carmolaye Harmonni, when I was speaking out about certain things openly like I was led to do. Pictures and all. Like if they had a Facebook page and they had a picture, I screenshot that shit and I put it on my Instagram and I spoke about them the way I was supposed to, the way the Most High God wanted me to expose them. I was led to do that. If I didn't pray about that before doing that, I would have never said no one's freaking names openly like I did on that social media account. You know what I'm saying? But if it's not deleted by now, because I'm not active on it now, I mean, it's still up to my knowledge, but I don't go on there like every day and all that, whatever. The last time I posted was probably September, probably. But, it's active though. I'm just not actively posting on there, if one was interested or whatever. But like, I just pray for my children to get justice for their wrongful passings. And there's going to come a time when negative people who have always had favor, there's going to come a time when that favor runs out and that well runs dry. There is going to come a time for that. I'm not wishing that on them. That's what's going to happen. Like absolutely going to happen in the future. Sometime in the future. Like, there's a person in my family who's in charge of my gang stalking experiences because of her CIA agent connections. Yeah, I'm gonna say it because I said it on there on Instagram too. Whatever. But yeah, because of her CIA connections and shit like that, all this is legal and all this is able to happen. And they're able to fund these gang stalkers to keep on gang stalking me and this and that, and gang stalk my significant other just because he's in a relationship with me and shit and all that shit, There's going to come a time when that well runs dry with the funding for that, all that shit. I'm just saying. They're not going to stop though. It'll be stopped for them. And it won't have nothing to do with me doing that. They better take that up with the Most High God, not me, or the universe. Take that up with the universe, by the way. Not me. I'm just a messenger. Don't kill the messenger. But they are trying to, though. They're trying to get me, though. But I can laugh at that because I know I'm divinely protected. I know I'm protected. The universe shows me every day. The Most High God shows me every day how protected I am. And I'm thankful for that. I would never take that for granted. Never. That's why I choose to be encouragement and motivation for others to go on their own spiritual healing journey if they need to. Because I know how important it was for me to go through my own healing journey. And it is possible to do that alone. Because I did. You know? Sometimes you're not always able to talk to physical people about things. You know? Most of the time I was praying. You know? I would speak to my significant other about certain things, but not every single thing, you know. Eventually I did, but the talking I did to get through my most ugly dark night of the soul times was me speaking to the universe and to God, because that's my beliefs, you know what I mean? And that's what got me through. And that's what helped me with my healing journey. My willingness to do that, number one. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I mean? But I see a cycle with this negative shit going on. On my podcast, I opened up about myself, about things that I went through in my, childhood and things I went through in my adulthood, that were really hard. And I opened up about those type of experiences because I feel that some people can learn from other people's experiences, for encouragement and motivation to not give up and to not, go into the deep end of not trying to, go on, because I know how hard it is, because everybody got their bad days. So do I, you know what I'm saying? But I still had that willpower to keep going and not give up, and I just want to do my part to, spread encouragement and motivation to other target individuals like myself, you know what I mean? To other chosen ones and other good-hearted people, like myself, because I know how important that is to have encouragement, Like, some of these people here in the town I reside in, some of them do not know the truth and the reason of why they're even supposed to gang stalk me and they're supposed to, whatever. It's all from lies, Like, I have an ex right now who is in charge of my gang stalking experiences and my significant other's gang stalking experiences. I'm not speaking for him, I'm just mentioning him because he does go through it, I do things from home, I work from home, and he works a 3D job, whatever. He tells me, every night he comes home from work, he tells me what the fuck be going on in the road, and this person cut me off, and this person was trying to wreck in front of me, and this person was trying to this. He tells me this shit. Ain't no fear with him either. I ain't got no fear in my heart, mind, or soul, but he sure the heck does not. Ain't no fear in him either. So, but he does vent to me about that type of shit. You feel me? Because I used to see it when I would be in a vehicle with him. I would notice it myself about the street theater and shit like that, and people trying to overcharge him in stores and shit, and cut in front of him to try to make him wreck and all that shit. Like, this shit getting old, man. This shit getting old. If people didn't have so many curses on the mind and shit around here where I reside, they would have the ability to open up their fucking eyes and see that they're doing this because of lies that was told about me, because of someone's hatred for me, because of lies that was told on me by someone else in their family who's no longer living right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of lies. I'm gonna show you a pattern when I explain what I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna try to let you see a pattern with this shit. with negativity that just keeps on being in a fucking cycle that needs to break, you know. But it starts with people's mindset. So, you know, I'm only one person. You know, my significant other is just one other person. You know what I'm saying? But 98% of people do spell work on me and my significant other. 98% of people in this town do spell work on us. And we know it. And that shit don't stop shit. I'm still here. Hell, he's still alive too. The fuck? I mean, y'all are not God. You know, these negative people think they're just the universe. Y'all think y'all are just in charge of the universe or some shit? Like, the universe is gonna wake y'all the fuck up. Like, oh my gosh. But let me get to my next point that I want to share. I've spoke about myself on my podcast, on my very first one and the one I did this year. I opened up about things I dealt with, you know, things that I've felt, situations I've been through that were hard that, you know, the Most High God allowed me to live through and things like that and overcome and things like that, you know. And I did that so people could learn from my experiences and learn that they don't need to give up and to please don't give up. If I didn't, then you shouldn't. Target individuals, chosen ones, and good-hearted people that go through gang stalking experiences and heavy spiritual attacks. Please do not give up. And do what you need to do to, you know, keep yourself in a high vibration, you know. Because curses are real, and curses on the minds really do affect the freaking environment, like I learned, like I mentioned on the last video before this one. Okay. But now, you know, last year in 2022, on this channel, I started to share channeled messages that I was led to share. And my psychic gift starting to heighten last year with me finding out certain things, you know, by no one physical telling me shit. You feel me? Okay. And as my psychic gifts heightened, I was able to receive spiritual downloads and confirmations about things I needed to, you know, and things I needed to share publicly and things that I needed to know for myself as well, you know, for myself privately as well, you know. And now I'm going to go on a different route with the rest of my message today. Instead of speaking about myself, like I've been doing for the past over an hour now. Damn, it's over an hour. Shit. Yeah, I knew this was going to be over 30 minutes. I had that feeling. But anyway, but now I'm going to share certain spiritual downloads I received today before actually going on this live stream that you're listening to right now. See, what people fail to realize is what they fail to realize is that when a negative person keeps on attacking and attacking and attacking a chosen one, a target individual, a good-hearted person, when they keep attacking them and their psychic gifts actually heighten, or they actually have psychic gifts, spiritual gifts, they fail to realize that they can tap into their energy to know all the little dirty secrets they don't want people knowing in public. But if they stopped spiritually attacking and shit like that, people like me who are spiritual, heightened in their spiritual gifts, we wouldn't know certain things, you know. Excuse me. But sometimes I get messages in my dreams and things like that. And recently, you know, there's a ex that was in my dream recently. I think it was like Saturday night or some shit like that, whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is he in my dreams for? Still doing that spell work and all that shit. And that was just a dream message I received letting me know that. Again, you know. But see, one of my exes is in charge of my gang stalking where I reside here. I met this ex when I was 16 years old in East Texas. I graduated high school in 2004. Okay? It's 2023 now. I graduated high school in 2004. Okay? All right. Now, I started being with him, you know, the ex I'm talking about now. When I met him, we were teenagers and shit and all that shit, whatever. It was orchestrated that we had to meet, right? Because I later found out that was all orchestrated for me to meet him. Because we did not go to the same high school. We didn't even meet high school. So, just saying. But anyway. I have an ex that is in charge of all the gang stalking shit going on where I reside now. All because of the grooming he went through from his mother and his other family members and things like that. And as I share this information, I want you to see a pattern or notice a pattern. I won't say his name on YouTube, but I said his name on my vlogging Instagram page, Carmolaye Harmonni, when I was speaking out about certain things. Yeah. But I'm going to keep it nice on YouTube. You feel me? Okay. Well, like I said before on some previous content, probably on a podcast or something I did or whatever, I think it was the second podcast I did that only had 2 episodes in the trailer because they ended up going to shit, whatever. Had hacking problems with that or whatever. But my second podcast is called Shining Candlelight with Carmolaye's Insight. And I started that podcast in October of 2022 last year. But that didn't get very far. But there's an episode on there when I spoke about why a narcissist is a narcissist. I forgot the exact title of that, but I have an episode called Trance Topic Talk when I was talking about trances and stuff like that. But there's also another episode I did when I spoke about, but I can't recall the exact episode title, but on the episode that's not entitled Trance Topic Talk, the one I did after that one, I believe. I don't know if I did that one second or the first one, but the one that does not have the word trance in the title, that's the episode I'm talking about. But on that episode, I talked about why narcissists are narcissists and how they become that. And I explained how it starts with childhood, of why a narcissist becomes a narcissist themselves. That goes with anything negative, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's certain abuse. Can I even say that word on YouTube? I forgot I can't say that word. Whatever. But when there's certain negative things that happen to people, that really does groom a person, especially when certain negative things happen to certain people as a child, you know. And SA, sexual abuse, I'll say SA, for that word. But when people go through SA, those type of negative things to happen, that really messes up a person's psyche. It really does. Not everyone, but some people. Because I've been sexually abused, or SA, in my childhood, but I'm not like that. I have no tendencies to be none of that at all, or not that type of person at all, you feel me? But sadly, some people are groomed to be narcissists themselves or pedos themselves if they dealt with certain negative things as a child that happened to them. It messes up the psyche of some people, That's why I have compassion for the situation, but not sympathy. It may not make sense to some people, but the reason why I have compassion for some people that are actually malicious as fuck is because I know the root cause of that. I have compassion for the root cause of that, why it's happened to them that way and why they became that type of person. But I would not ever have sympathy for them, especially if it came to them hurting or unaliving my children. I would never have sympathy for a person like that, ever, or people like that. And I don't have sympathy for people who spiritually attack me constantly. I just will never have sympathy for them. I would never feel sorry for them. But I know it's weird to hear me say that I have compassion, but I don't have sympathy. That's just how I understand my feelings with that. But I don't feel sorry for these people, but I have compassion for the root cause of why they're that way, if that makes any sense. Because I understand the deep spiritual meaning of that. You know what I mean? But there's an ex that still gang stalks me now and pays other groups and other people to do that and things like that. And the person in my family, with the CIA connection, she's in charge of all of it too. But he's actually here in the area I'm in though. He'll go back and forth to Texas to where I am, back and forth, but whatever. But I went to high school in Texas, so you know what I'm saying. I graduated high school in Texas, so you know what I mean. But that's where I met him when I was 16 years old, and the physical abuse I went through with him, the domestic violence situations I went through with him did not start until maybe months after I met him, maybe something like that. But I had so much low self-esteem for myself at that time that I just kept on dealing with it and kept on putting myself through that when I shouldn't have. And I know that, I take accountability for what I do and for choices I've made, and soon it's going to be time for people to do the same. But for some people, for some of the negative ones, it's going to be more of a harder lesson than what I've had to learn. And it's going to be a way harder way of them learning that than the way I've learned that for myself, See, in November of 2004, I lost a child. And, I had to have a medically induced abortion because of a condition that my fetus had at the time. And when I went through that, And after that took place in November 2004, that's when the abuse, I'm sorry, I keep on saying that word on YouTube. When the domestic violence started with me, it was heightened after that situation, is what I want to say. But I was already, in a low point of my life and had extra low self-esteem because, that happened, and I was sad about that, and in my own grieving process at that time, then had to deal with extra negative things from him on top of that. So my dumbass stayed with him until the summer of 2008. There's times I left him, went back and forth, went back to him because I was weak-minded and shit. And he just thought I was going to be weak-minded for the rest of my life. Oh no. Oh no. I left him the summer of 2008. I have not had sex with him since the year 2010. Let me say this again. 2010. And it's 2023 now. I have not seen him in the flesh in front of my face since 2010. Okay? But he's still, highly respected in Masonic groups and everything and all that. And I respect that, but I respect Masons, but I don't respect the malicious intent with that, with being malicious towards people that do not deserve it. That's where I don't stand for that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just gone too far now. When I left him in the summer of 2008, I ended up turning back and seeing him again in 2010. But after that time, in the year 2010, never wanted to see him again. Never wanted to deal with him ever again in life. Ever, ever, ever. And it's 2023 now, and he's still gang stalking me now. He has me in a fraudulent marriage still now. Just because he's Mason and just because he has the authority like that and he can do whatever with marriage license and certificates and shit like that. But I'm married without my consent. I ended up getting spiritual downloads about that last year in 2022. I had no consent to that at all. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit I don't respect when it comes to Masons abusing their power. Abusing, like, falsifying records and shit and all that. There's no need for that, my opinion. There's no need for that shit. But I'm in a fraudulent marriage right now and can't do shit about it. You know what I'm saying? And there's tarot card readers that talk about this. So I'm not the only one that has this issue as a target individual, as a chosen one, as a good-hearted person. There's other chosen ones who deal with these type of problems and fraudulent marriages and shit and other type of falsified records and this and that. And he has my name on his documents of his business and his other family members' business in Grand Prairie, Texas, or somewhere around there in that North Texas area, Dallas County area. And he thinks I don't know that. They better get my name off that shit. If shit get real, just whatever. But they gonna do what they do. It is what it is. The universe is gonna restore balance the way the universe restores balance. However the Most High God sees fit. However karma comes back to people in general, it's coming. No one can run from karma. And that goes for everybody. Trust me. I know about karmic debt, and I learned about that when I learned about breaking generational curses, and when I learned that I had to do that for myself and my bloodline. When I started learning about things like that last year in 2022, that's when I started getting spiritual downloads about other stupid crap that happened behind the scenes of my life. Like when my ex put me in a fraudulent marriage, I was living in the state of California. I wasn't in the state of Texas where he was in, where he did that at. I was in the state of California. But since he's Mason, he can do that. You know, I just don't stand for people like that who just abuse their power that way. I just don't I don't get it. You got all that power, but choose to abuse the shit. Like I don't understand. Whatever. I mean, I understand it, but that's not my mindset. I'm just not that type of person. Whatever. I respect the occult and I respect Masons, but I don't respect abusive power when it comes to that shit. That's what I don't stand for. Abusive power. I'm sick of that. The universe is sick of it. The Most High God is sick of it. Oh, yeah. And soon it's going to be time for certain people to learn their lessons. And that's going to be real ugly. Promise them it's going to be real ugly. And it's not going to be nothing I do. I'm not God. I'm not the universe. I'm just saying. But anyway, I went through all that, domestic violence stuff and all that. And now in 2023, still got people thinking I want to be with him. Still has his significant other thinking I want him and this and that. Because I get spiritual downloads about the shit. That's how I know. Still lying, saying I'm this and I'm that. And I want him and this and that. The fuck? I left this dude in 2008 in the summertime and have not had any sexual relations with him since the year 2010, for God's sake. What is that, 13 years ago? 13 years ago. Over 13 years ago. A little over 13 years. Probably 13 years and some months. By now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no want for him at all. No desire. Hell no. But the only reason why these gang stalkers here where I reside have a job to even be an op like that and have an op mission and opposition to even gang stalk me and gang stalk my significant other because he's in a relationship with me and all that shit. The reason why that's even happening and the reason why gang stalkers here where I reside have a job to do like that is only because of lies that was told on me and lies that he told to all these people paid to do what the fuck they're doing when the gang stalk me and shit. Because someday that well is going to run dry and that luck will run out eventually. They just don't think it will ever happen. But anyway. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this vlog talk session, I was speaking about how as I became deeper in my spiritual journey, I began to learn and receive spiritual downloads and confirmations about certain things, about my ruthless bloodline and, other members of my family and stuff and other people in my past that I cut off and everything. But for some reason, I just felt like setting some records straight, because I've never spoke about this before. I'm so used to just speaking about myself and, but I've already done that. I want to make another example or share another example to show you that there's a cycle with this negativity going on. It's a cycle with this shit. And it all starts with childhood, how people were raised. Okay? I see the pattern. I've been seeing the pattern. But, you know, there's certain things people don't know where I reside. And shit, when they actually find out for themselves that I'm not lying, only God can have mercy on their soul. That's all I can say. God has mercy. I don't. Okay, that's not my job. Okay. Well, one of my exes, you know, that's in charge of my gang stalking experiences here. His first name, government given name, I should say. His first name starts with a J, and his last name starts with the letter C. But I said his whole name on my vlogging Instagram page, though, when I was speaking out about certain things I was led to. But on YouTube, keep it nice. But I want you to see a pattern with this shit. And I'm a prime example of the fact that not all people who were abused some type of way in their childhood, they do not all turn out negative that way. I'm living proof of that. And I thank the Most High God every day that He spared me coming out of the ruthless bloodline I come from. You know, I'm estranged from my whole freaking family. And I would never turn back from that decision. Never. But hurt people do hurt people. I have a episode on that on my very first podcast, Harmonni Healings. And I think the title is Hurt People Because. I believe that's the title of that episode. I went into that discussion on there. But that's true. Hurt people. But that doesn't go for all people who have been hurt. You feel me? Not all hurt people. Just some hurt people. You feel me? Not all of them. You know, because I didn't. I dealt with my pain by myself. I didn't choose to negatively manipulate people's lives and do this and do that just because whatever. No, I chose to work on my healing journey on my own and keep on having the mindset to not give up. You know, that's what I chose to do. Everyone can make a choice. You know, I can have compassion for a situation, but I don't have to have sympathy for them. Like just, oh my God, I feel sorry for them. No, I can have compassion for how a person became a certain way, though. You feel me? If that makes any sense. There's some people who, well, there's a certain person who's negatively behind the scenes of my life who went through horrendous and heavy SA, sexual abuse, as a child. It started out before the person was 10 years old, but to their recollection, they remember things from when they were 10 years old up to whatever, right? Like my ex, for example. See, he was sexually abused, SA'd, as a child. I did not know that when I was with him, though. When I was 16 when I met him, and then I graduated high school in 2004. Then 2008 is when I left him. I think I was 22 years old then, I believe, or about to turn 22 at that moment or whatever. But I was like 21 or 22 years old when I left him or whatever. I didn't know that, Not only his mother SA'd him, but also other females in the family. I can have compassion for that because, children are innocent, and that's where the programming starts in childhood. That's where the grooming starts in childhood. When negative people want to groom children to be a certain way, certain negative way, and things like that. I'm not the only one that talks about grooming. That shit is real. The way a person is groomed in their childhood can really be deep-rooted in their whole existence, their whole essence, the way they are, period. Just the origin of why they're just in that mindset all the time. That shit is from programming and grooming from childhood. Hell, I was essayed in my childhood, but I did not turn out a narcissist or pedo type person. I didn't turn out that way. So I'm living proof that not everyone who goes through that type of essay or that type of abuse or whatever, not all people turn out that way. I'm living proof of that. You feel me? I did not know when I was with my ex, when I was in a relationship with him, that he was having intimate relations, because I know I've been saying the S word so much. He was having intimate relations with his mother, but I did not know it when I was with him. And the reason why my ex has so much hatred towards me still is because of what his mother groomed him to hate me like. I didn't know they had an intimate relationship before I met him at 16 years old. I didn't know that. You feel me? It damn sure wasn't shown in front of me. Of course not, but it was going on when I was married to him and everything. Married for real to him. I'm in a fraudulent marriage with the motherfucker now, but when I was with him, married for real, with my consent, you feel me? I didn't know that shit then. I divorced from him October 2008. That's when I divorced him. That's when the divorce was final from the marriage I consented to with him. He took it upon himself later on and to put me in a fraudulent marriage without my consent. But I used to be married to the motherfucker for real with my consent. But after October 2008, heck no. I was never going to go back to that, but then ended up seeing him again in 2010, that one time, But hell, 2010 is 13 years from now. Or not 13 years from now, but that was 13 years ago. 2010 from now. That's 13 years ago. Curses on the mind are real. Like, it's sad how a whole family can orchestrate a person to have hatred for someone, all from a lie. All from a lie. All from a lie. And I thank God every day that He spared my life, spared my health while I was with Him. I thank God every day. And I was married to him for like I was with him for 5.5 years, but married for 3 or some shit. Yeah, I was married for 3 years. When I did consent to that back then, but I thank God every day for him sparing my life, sparing my health, because when I was with him, I did not know that he had an incurable STD. I did not know that. But I received spiritual downloads regarding him because of him popping up in my dreams and shit. Recently, my spiritual gifts have heightened, so I get messages in my dreams too. Getting my energy some more, I'm gonna know some more. Any psychic could tell them that, tell people that, depending on how heightened their spiritual gifts are. You keep on attacking a person's energy, they're gonna eventually know shit about them that they don't want people knowing publicly. I'm just sharing an example, so you can try to see a pattern of this, of how it's based on how a person is raised in their childhood. If they went through a lot of SA as a child, that can really mess up their psyche, And I have compassion for that fact and that type of situation, because no one deserves that type of abuse as a child. No one asks for that type of abuse as a child. But it's too far now. It's too freaking far now. Like, I received a spiritual download today, this morning, before going on this live stream, that my ex, that's in charge of my gang stalking shit going on here, he's been spreading HIV. He's been spreading the shit. It's full-blown AIDS for him right now, but HIV, whatever, however it's spread, whatever. It's so infested here where I live. Like, these people do not know. Like, they're doing all these spiritual attacks to me and gang stalking me and gang stalking my significant other and things like that. But most of these people where I reside have either HIV or AIDS, and they don't know it. They need to go to the doctor instead of trying to do death spells on me. Is what they need to do for their own health. I mean, it's too late now. I mean, it would just be nice for them to just know that and quit focusing on doing death spells and other type of evil witchcraft towards me. You know what I'm saying? That certain ex I'm talking about, he's willingly spread his incurable disease and it's spread all throughout this town I reside in. The only reason why I don't have that shit is because of God. That shit never came up in my blood work or paperwork or whatever when I went to doctors and shit. Never. See, my ex's mother told him that he must have that HIV or whatever because of me. No, I did not give it to him. His mother gave it to him that used to have sexual relations with him. That's who gave him HIV. That turned to AIDS. She gave it to him, not me. I can't even trust going to the doctor here where I reside because I was spiritually guided not to, because of how heavy it is with my gang stalking experiences here and things like that. I know they would do me wrong in a doctor's office. I knew they would. I know. And I was spiritually guided not to go to a doctor here anymore because of certain people in authority that are just waiting for that right now so that they can do some shit to me or whatever. But if I was to get tested right now for HIV or AIDS, I do not have it. I don't have that shit. Thank God. Because when I was with him back then and 2003 when I met him when I was 16 years old, and I left him in 2008. I was with him 5 years and did not catch that shit because God spared my life. I give God all my praise every day. If it weren't for him, I'd be walking around with AIDS right now like most of these people here, because 90% of people here where I reside have HIV or AIDS right now. They don't know it. They're so busy doing spell work on me. They're so busy gang stalking me and shit like that. And gang stalk my significant other and put spell work on him as well. They're so busy on doing that, they're not even focused on their own health around here. And it's sad. I know what I feel in my body when there's death spells being put on me and things like that. I know the feeling. But I shake that shit off every day, every night. I give my praise to the Most High God every day. I trust in the universe and I trust in the Most High God. Because if it weren't for God, man, I'd be running around here sick like them. Running around here with HIV or AIDS right now if God didn't spare my life. So that's why I believe in the Most High God. I mean, I believed in him all throughout my life, but I have no reason to not believe in him. You feel me? I have no reason not to believe in him. Between 90% and 95% of people here where I reside have HIV here. And they don't fucking know it. That's sad. That's probably karma, though. But still, that's sad. I have compassion for the situation, but, you know, it is what it is. I don't have sympathy for it, though. I know that probably don't make no sense, but I have compassion for situations, but I don't have sympathy for the people. Maybe that's what I need to say. Maybe that's more understandable. Since I understand the root cause of certain things, because I have deep understanding about that. You know what I mean? My ex's mother gave him HIV, gave him AIDS or whatever, and told him that I gave it to him. So he's dedicated his life to gang stalking me and putting spell work on me as well and all that shit. Still now in 2023, all from a lie. But his mom is unalive right now, though. You know, because they wanted to keep that secret of her being pregnant with his child, the incest child, her incest baby. Yeah, I know that now. That's why she's not alive now. Hell, she used to put spell work on me too. I don't have no compassion for her soul either. Well, I don't have any sympathy for her soul, I mean. I really don't. That woman used to do spell work on me too. I eventually got spiritual downloads about that and everything else back in 2022 when I first got very, very, very deep spiritual messages regarding things that God wanted me to know. But it is so infested here where I am, man. And these people are so caught up in gang stalking me and shit. Like, they need to wake up and smell the coffee, man. They need to wake up and smell the coffee and start to focus on themselves and quit trying to focus on me because of lies and shit. They need to get their facts straight. Mother suckers can get readings on me and go to a palm reader and all that, or whatever y'all call that here, tarot card readers and stuff. I watch tarot card readings. You know, there's a lot of great tarot card readers out there who are not malicious and all that shit. But motherfuckers here getting readings on me and I know it. They need to be getting readings on themselves and getting readings on the truth of the matter, because it's gone too far now. You know, it's gone too far now. The truth will be revealed other than me saying it too, by the way. You know, the universe will restore balance with justice for people that deserve it and people that need it. Like us all target individuals and chosen ones and good-hearted people out here. Like my ex doesn't even know that his grandfather, who he thinks is his grandfather, is also his father. He doesn't even know that. It's a cycle with this shit. You know, he went through SA as a child because of his mother being intimately inappropriate with him from childhood. But then he began to like it, though. You see how that can mess up the person's psyche? You know, when they actually start to like it, you know? But to each his own. Some people like incest. I don't. It is what it is. You know? But to each your own. I don't judge, but I just talk shit about people who attack me. That's all. You know? Some people say incest isn't all that bad. It is what it is. It's all on your perception. What I'm saying is some people use that to their advantage and use that for negative reasons. Especially when people are groomed as a child. You know, sexual energy is very strong. I talked about that on my podcast I did this year, about how sexual energy is strong and, you know, and people use that and abuse that power of sexual energy and things like I talked about that on my podcast I did this year. I know I mentioned that before. But that is the deepest way to have control of someone, when they have that sexual connection, you know. It's something about that. It's very, very intense energy, sexual energy is, you know. But all because his mother lied to him, to my ex, about me giving him a disease I never gave him. She gave it to him. And then I was with him 5 years and I didn't even catch it. I ended up living in Bakersfield, California years later and things like that when I moved out of Texas and stuff and went to I went to doctor's appointments out there and got blood work done and never had it. Never popped up in my blood work ever. Never. And I give God all the praise for that fact right there. God spared my life. So I have no reason not to believe in him. I have no reason to deny God. I have no reason for that. He spared my life so much. You know? And I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? All because my ex thinks that I gave him that. He has that vendetta against me. And, you know, he has the money and the connections because he's Mason and all that. You know, which I respect Masons and I respect the occult, but I don't respect abuse of power. I do not respect abuse of power. I do not respect abuse of power. That's what I do not respect. You feel me? But all because of a lie that he was fed into. And then, you know, now he's orchestrating lies for a whole community to do whatever. He can fund and pay these gang stalkers to gang stalk me and gang stalk my significant other and things like that. What happens when that well runs dry? And what happens when that luck runs out? What happens? I wonder what's going to happen then. Because gang stalkers ain't going to do that shit for free. They ain't going to do that shit for free. That's a goddamn show. They ain't going to do that for free. Gang stalkers got they op missions and op positions to do. And it's never going to be for free. You ain't going to do it for free. So they better enjoy that luck while the good luck stream is still going. They better enjoy that luck while it's here, because it's not going to be here forever where I reside either. It's not going to be lucky for them forever like they think. They better get their facts right. Before they dig themselves deeper in a spiritual hole. Because it's already dug deep enough. Ain't shit they can do about it. They sold everything else. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, though. It's sad how my ex was essayed as a child. And that groomed him to be the malicious sucker he is today. And has been his whole adult life. That's a sad fact. I do not have sympathy for his fuck ass, but I do have compassion for how that happened and the root of that happening, though. And for me to say that, and for me to not be sarcastic about it, that shows me how far I've truly just came. I came a really long way, man. I came a long way. And I have no one but God and universe to thank for that. You know, my spiritual team, my ancestors. I thank God every day for my protection, for my strength, my discernment has got stronger. And I'm just sitting back waiting, man. I'm just going with the flow. Because that's all I can do. You know, I pray for justice for my children's passings, wrongful passings at that. I pray for especially for that. You know. And all other children that passed away from wrongdoing, you know. There's a lot of children who have been offed for malicious intent and all that purposely. It's sad. I talked about that on my podcast this year a good bit, you know. It's just sad how things are now, you know, all from lies and shit. If these people that gang stalked me knew the truth about that certain person lying to them about me, you know, if there was no money for them to get paid to be op, you know, my ex wouldn't go very far with with nothing, with funding this shit, with gang stalking me, or helping fund the shit to gang stalk me, you know. But I'm not the only one that goes through this. There's a lot of tarot card readings I see about people that had hidden cameras in their homes and shit. I'm not the only one that went through that shit. There's other people I've lived with in the past that had hidden cameras in their homes when I didn't know it. You know, they were getting paid just because I was there being recorded in their hidden camera for the dark web. I'm not the only one that talks about this. You know? There's a YouTube channel called the Institute of Human Anatomy. And there's a video that was posted on September 2nd of 2022 entitled The Brain of a Psychopath. The Brain of a Psychopath. And in that less than 30-minute video, it's all scientific and everything, but, you know, if one was to watch that and had a spiritual mindset while watching it, even if they don't understand the scientific terms, but understand the concept of what is being said, they'd be like, damn, it is in the DNA. It is a DNA problem. It really is. It's a DNA problem. But for my opinion, it's not just a physical DNA problem. It's a soul problem. It's a soul illness. That's what I call it. But If you're in a scientific mood and you want to listen to or watch some scientific content, check out that video from the Institute of Human Anatomy YouTube channel and look up that video, The Brain of a Psychopath. It was done September 2nd of last year, 2022. And watch that if you're interested, especially if you have a spiritual mindset while watching it. See what you get from that. You know, it's a DNA problem with that shit. I guess it missed me. The ruthless bloodline I come from, I guess it missed me, thank God. The gene missed me, I guess. Thank God. But damn. And I'm not the only one that identifies themselves as a psychic investigator either. I just started saying that publicly, like on my podcast and shit, probably this year or whatever. But really, last year when I started sharing channeled messages that I received, and I shared them on this channel last year in 2022. But there are times that a psychic has solved cases, murder cases. If you like, stories like that, you can check out the YouTube channel called The Black Cauldron. And cauldron isn't spelled correctly like it's spelled. This content creator has it spelled Culdru. No, I'm sorry. It's Culdron. I'm sorry. Because I know some people have an A in that word, the letter A in that word, but she spells it different. I've never seen it spelled that way. But the YouTube channel is called The Black Cauldron. And on November 8th of this year, 2023, that content creator, she has a video entitled Psychic Solves Murder. 10 times a psychic solved a murder case. And on that video, she speaks about real cases that happened and real psychic investigators or real psychics that actually help solve those murder cases. So that type of thing does happen. It has happened in the past. Just wanted to mention that. But anyway, I know this was very long. I never thought I would ever see me be on for a whole 2 hours, damn near. But I commend anyone who has heard this all the way through. I know my thoughts and my words were all over the place, but the main point I wanted to make was that the root of all emotional imbalance and sickness comes from generational curses on the bloodline. And curses, things like that. That shit is real. Curses do freaking exist. They do freaking exist, And I even believed that existed before I was even on a spiritual journey, period. I had a hell of an imagination as a child, so you know what I'm saying? I loved my horror movies and thriller movies and shit, I always thought that shit existed, I just figured that was my child imagination and all that shit. But nope, that shit be real, y'all. That shit is all the way real. You know what I'm saying? But I know it's a pattern with how people are so negative towards other people and malicious towards other people. It's because they were groomed that way. I do have compassion for that fact, but I would never have sympathy for the people that, hurt me deeply and ended my children's lives. I would never have sympathy for those people, but I do have compassion for the root cause of why they're that way as a person, though. Never thought I would even fix my mouth to say that. But that's just the deep level I'm on on my spiritual journey, I guess. And my psychic gifts heightening too, my spiritual gifts heightening as well. And, I just see things in a different perspective. And I'm just so tired of the negativity around me. That's why I chose to isolate myself. It's not from fear at all. I just don't like dealing with negative energy anymore because I know how hard it was for me to overcome certain things. And that's why I choose to be encouragement and motivation for others to go on their own spiritual healing journey if they need to. Because I know how important it was for me. And still is. Your healing journey doesn't end, It's a process. But for me to be emotionally stable and more emotionally mature, for me to be more emotionally mature than I've ever been before in my life, that says a lot. And I realize how far I've came, how far I've come. And it's sad that other people won't do that for themselves. They choose to be in that negativity. They choose to be malicious towards others and project negativity to other people and this and that they choose and all that. That's just, it's sad when you think about it. When I think about it, I mean, it's sad when I think about it, but I would never have sympathy for gang stalkers going through their karma and feel sorry for their situation. No. Hell no. But I do have compassion for why negative people are the way they are. The root cause of why they are that way. But anyway, I know this was extra freaking long. Oh my gosh. I hope I never have any content this long ever again, but I was just in my thoughts and in deep thought and things. So I commend anyone who's heard this all the way freaking through to the end. And I want to end with this. Stay empowered, stay encouraged, and stay elevated. I'm out, y'all.